Hi everyone, my name is Kelly, and today I'll be talking about our mobile application WonderWords, which is a interactive AI storytelling application for children for our master's project. Now I'll be handing it over to Alexis to talk about the problem that we're trying to solve.
Hi, I'm Alexis. So the problem that we're trying to solve with WonderWords is to provide a way for children and their parents to build literacy and emotional development skills in a way that is tech-driven. So the problem essentially is kids are growing up in a digital world and traditional reading methods struggle to keep their attention. So there's a growing need for a fun, personalized, tech-driven literacy support.
So our solution is the WonderWords AI-powered mobile storytelling app. The application creates an interactive, customizable storytelling platform for kids. The application promotes literacy, creativity, and emotional expression, and it features traditional text as well as voice input and output. It also features child-parent collaboration and content safety filters.
Hi, my name is Josh. So our app uses AI and personalization. It uses GPTO, um, llama models to generate safe and creative content. It uses meta prompting uh, to generate stories. Is age appropriate, tone appropriate, and uses references to make sure that content is safe. The parent has a dashboard to support that supports control and oversight.
So, our impact and future. Why does our app matter? Overall, it boosts early literacy and confidence in children. It encourages self-expression through the meta prompting, and it bridges the gap between education and entertainment. And hopefully, our next steps will be to expand our voice options, languages, and even include a multimodal input. So now we'll be going into our demonstration. All right, now let's get into the demo. So when you're first brought to the application, you're brought to the parent login screen. There's also the kids login screen once you press the kids zone. But for the purpose of the demo, we'll start off with the parent login screen to show parent abilities of adding child accounts and also assigning stories. So let's log into an existing account. If you don't have an existing account, we do have a register screen. But since we do, let's log in as Bob Smith. Awesome. Once you're logged in, you're brought to this page. So in our nav bar for parent accounts, we have the create your own story feature. We have the adding children's account feature, and then we also have just like your profile screen. So here, let's ask for a story about dragonflies. And the model's going to prompt me if I want to start a new story, and I will say yes. And so during this time, the story is going to generate. Here you go. So what they decided on was the ethereal dance of iridescent dragonflies. How wonderful. And so we also have implemented a voice API to
Title: The Ethereal Dance of the
have
Iridescent
these stories
Dragonflies.
basically be
Story, part
read
number
to
one.
you.
In a sunlit meadow,
But since it's a parent account, we don't really need it to be read to us at the moment. But what's super cool is once you go into history, you can see that the story was generated. Let's see, right here. The ethereal dance of the iridescent dragonflies. Awesome. So because this story was generated, I want to assign it to my child. And here I can assign it to my kid, Cheryl. And so now Cheryl can basically read the story, which is really, really cool. With that being said, let's log into Cheryl's account. So entering her username, Sherry.berry, and her secret PIN. For the Charles login screen, they're greeted with this cute frog named Hopper. And they're brought to this screen, which has a very simple UI feel to it. We wanted to keep the buttons, the colors colorful, just everything simple so that it's easy to navigate through and very game-like. So they
Hi there,
greeted
I'm
by
Hopper the
Hopper.
story-loving frog. Tap the story button below to begin our wonderful reading journey.
So the main feature here, kids can basically choose a theme and our model will take in that theme and create a story for them. So that's a really fun part, but let me show you how, because Bob Smith assigned Cheryl a story, Cheryl can basically read the story herself, or in this case, listen to it. So let's listen to the ethereal dance of iridescent dragonflies.
Title: The Ethereal Dance of the Iridescent Dragonflies. Story, part number 1. In a sunlit meadow, a group of iridescent dragonflies began their whimsical adventure. Together, they fluttered over vibrant flowers, sharing tales of dream-filled skies. From tiny, shimmering eggs hidden in the grass, they witnessed the magical friendship that blossomed during their life cycle transformation. As they emerged, they grew nimble and graceful, darting through the air like living rainbows.
Yeah, so that's just part of the story. Usually the stories that are generated last about like 42 seconds to a minute. But here, let's generate our own story. So I'm feeling like a story about animals since we're on the topic of insects. So it takes the model a bit to generate the story. And here we go. Let's see what the model came up with.
Title: The Great Forest Fizzle. Title: The Great Forest Fizzle. Story: In the lush, enchanting forest, Benny the bunny, Clara the clever crow, and Timmy the tortoise gathered for their daily chatter. One sunny morning, they discovered the magical fizzle fountain had stopped bubbling.
All right, so another feature we have is what happens next. So kids can choose what happens next, the what happens next button, which will generate what happens next, a different ending, making it funny, and also adding a twist. But let's see what happens next. All right, as you can see, more of the story was generated and the kid has an option to play it. But if we don't want to listen to this story
Title:
anymore,
The Great Forest Fizzle.
we could do a new story and all the theme buttons will show up again. But now you might be wondering, where did the story go? So let's sign back out and go back to the parent account. And this is where that moderation comes in. So even if like a new story was generated, all the stories will go through the parent's account in order for the parent to review it and make sure it's appropriate for the kid. Just that second level of personalization. All right, going to history. There you go, the Great Forest Fizzle. And since it was a great story, let's assign it back to Cheryl. All right, so that concludes our presentation demo for our app, WonderWords. Thank you for listening.